Sundagi. Where a neg heavier through that. Heavier through that. The petty will freak.
Great sporting events make great stories. On Discovery Plus, watch Lycra Warriors battle.
It has been a blockbuster.
Hot shots fire.
The legend.
Sharpshooters strike.
Ronnie O'Sullivan is in seventh heaven.
And thrill seekers zoom. There's live sport for everyone on Discovery Plus.
Hello, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Ponds Forge here in Sheffield for another session of qualifying at the Cazoo UK Championship. This is the penultimate qualifying round. It's to get through to Judgment Day and a chance to qualify for the final stages in York. And look at the match we've got for you. Ding Junhui, 3 times the UK champion against Thailand's Tepchara Nu, former shootout champion, one of the fastest players in the sport. So it's China versus Thailand for a place, as I say, in the final round of qualifying. Nice little crowd in as well, no doubt many here to see Ding, who, as I say, has won this title 3 times, most recently 3 years ago, but of course having to pre-qualify this year because he's down to 38 in the world rankings, but nobody really thinks of him as the world number 38. We all know what he's capable of. 14 ranking titles to his name. Of course, last couple of years he's seen younger Chinese players come through and start to win titles, and indeed the defending champion is Xiao Xingtong. Yesterday we saw a very entertaining match. Tepchara Nu won 6-5 against Martin O'Donnell to book his place in this round, and it is the pick of this session, but of course there are 8 tables. You can watch tables 1 to 4 live on Discovery Plus. Marcel Eckhart is our referee. Best of 11, and the winner will play the winner of the match that's also on this session between Robert Milkins and Zhang Anda. Tepchara Nu to get us underway. I'm here with Stephen Hallworth. Once again, you can, of course, contact us throughout the broadcast with any questions or queries or comments. Check out the World Snooker Tour Twitter page at WeAreWST, at WeAreWST. I'm at Dave Hendon. Stephen is at Stephen Hallworth. And this is a cracking match, Stephen, in prospect.
Yeah, massive game for 2 players that are good friends. A mouth-watering clash. High stakes as well, as you say, for a place in the Judgment Day. 2 fantastic overseas ambassadors and brilliant players. Should be a cracker.
Ding's first match in this year's UK Championship. Of course, Tepchara had that contest yesterday with Martin O'Donnell. Just saw him sort of almost willing that cue ball in behind the brown. It didn't quite happen though. It's a lovely pot, isn't it, for Ding to get underway this afternoon.
Yeah, these early frames for Ding are going to be important. As you say, he's not played a game yet here at the Cazoo UK Championship qualifiers. He'll be eager to get off to a good start, get himself settled down, get his arm going, get used to the tables. Tepchara obviously had that thrilling match yesterday against Martin O'Donnell. But he's a class act, Ding. You mentioned his 38th in the world on the ranking list, which is by far not a true reflection of the level that this man can play at. one of the best in the world on his day. Fantastic cue ball control, makes it look effortless around this area of the table. He's incredibly dangerous. Although that wasn't one of his best. Didn't quite finish perfect on the red.
Well, the red over the pocket. Might be a bit of stalemate here.
Yeah, I won't be surprised if there's a little glance towards Tepchire or Ding in a second. Probable re-rack.
Touching ball with this red.
Okay, so touching ball makes it a little bit better for Tepchire if you can get the white up into balk area behind the balk colour, but doesn't look too interested in that.
Well, they're determined to protect the red over the pocket, so it's either someone's going to make
Touching ball.
a mistake or it's going to be a re-rack, I think. At some stage, they may look at each other. The referee can get involved, of course, if he feels he should.
Still not. Still not.
Well, Ding has tried to pot it. That's the other way it can end. So that's a chance he's taken. This is still a difficult black, though.
Yeah, it was a nice shot on the red. If the black was on its spot, that wouldn't have been available to him, so just managed to judge it right. Big shot. Yeah, very nicely done.
8. Nine.
Yeah, Ding has fallen back a little bit. There's a combination of reasons. One, his form hasn't been great, it's got to be said, but also this time last year he lost the UK points from 2019 on the 2-year system. He'd missed a few tournaments because he'd gone back to China, because during COVID he'd remained in the UK, hadn't seen his family, his wife and daughter, so took a long break, therefore missed a few
16.
events. So when he did come back, he wasn't quite as sharp as some of the others. But I think we're all sort of waiting for him to really click back into gear and have a run in a tournament. Okay, he's end of break here, but you know, this could be the one, couldn't it? If he qualified, you know, he's got all the pedigree in the world at the Barbican, 3 times a winner there.
Yeah, absolutely. He obviously really enjoys this tournament. He's done well here many times. So you're right, he'll be looking for a good run and be up for the challenge, that's for sure.
One.
Well, Stephen's just stepped out the commentary box. I'm delighted to be joined by one of the game's senior officials, referee Brendan Moore. Well, I think here, Brendan, firstly, welcome. A local man, of course, from Sheffield.
Thanks very much.
I think here you're in the tournament office, aren't you?
Yeah, tournament office as one of the tournament directors, and also split role assessing the referees that are here for the week.
They're long days, and I think you were here till very late last night.
9.
Yeah, I think we left here about 1:45. I left the building.
People were here this. They see the referees, they know what they do. But tournament director, what are the sort of tasks that involves?
Well, it's our job to make sure that all the matches start on time. Referees are here. Any matches that run late, we have to then pull them off and then bring them back later in the day when another match finishes. Basically, you're just there to make sure that the tournament runs smoothly.
Yeah, and there's a lot of matches, of course, 8 tables, and it's nobody's fault, but there's been a few that have to come back later on. You're waiting for a table to become free. Obviously, the players have to kind of wait, don't they? They don't know when they're going to come back on, but I suppose the argument is play quicker.
Well, yeah, I suppose so. I'm not going to say that though, but yeah, if you start a game at 2:30 and it gets to around 7 o'clock and it's not finished, then we have that difficult decision to make the call of
17.
pulling them off and bringing them back later. And unfortunately, last night we had 3 matches that were still to go on, and I don't think the first one went on while around 10:30, and the last one just after 11 o'clock. It's unfortunate, but everybody knows that that's the situation they're in, unfortunately.
So how did you get into refereeing, Brendan? Because obviously a lot of people, they play snooker and are interested in becoming players, but what was your path into becoming an official?
So way back in 2002, I was a captain of a local team in Sheffield.
22.
I thought it'd be just good to know the rules as the captain of the team. So I did my exam with the Sheffield legend Herbert Dean, who a lot of people know
23.
around the referee circuit. And then 2 years later, after doing a load of local stuff, I did an EPSB event in Wellingborough, and the late great Len Ganley happened to be there as the senior ref. And then he watched me referee, liked what he saw, put me forward to the tournament director of World Snooker, which is his son, Mike, and that was my way in.
Yeah, so I mean, I was quite right to say you're now one of the senior officials. How many World Finals is it now?
2 World Finals now. 2 World Finals, 2 UK and 3 of the Masters of the
30.
Triple Crown. So I'd like one more of the other 2 to make it 3 of each. Then nice symmetry to it.
I mean, to referee the World Final is of course the pinnacle, but especially for you in Sheffield, that first one, that must have been very
31.
special.
Yeah, it was awesome. I remember watching it back when Rob Walker announced me out. I mean, I quite often say in interviews, I don't get nervous, because to me it's all about the players. As long as the referee doesn't mess up, genuinely nobody cares who the referee is, as long as you do the job. So I'm quite relaxed in that regard.
31.
I was stood back curtain waiting to be announced out, and Rob Walker had the crowd revved up. It was Brendan's one of your own, he lives 5 minutes from here, he's this, he's Sheffield that. And when I walked out, honestly, the emotion running through me, and I've seen it back on video where the BBC show it and it slows right down, and you can see tears in my eyes, and took a deep breath because it was so emotional, because all my family and friends were there as well. So it was a great buzz, and it obviously happened to be Ronnie against Mark Selby. An awesome final, a great experience, and I loved every minute of it.
Say Dinger was going nicely there, missed that blank. Another chance here from distance. We're going to just keep Brendan here for a couple more minutes, because I know a lot of people out there may be interested in getting into refereeing. This Dinger doesn't pot that and just seems to have got away with it. May have left this red to middle. But how, if someone wants to become a referee, Brendan, what is the route?
Well, the route in England now in the EPSB, we have a new course that's been run. It's been taken on by the WPBSA. It's basically a 16-week course. So they contact the EPSB or WPBSA, put the name for this course, and they actually sit a seminar on Zoom with myself and Jan. For Haas, we do the first 6 hours with them, and then they get passed on to a mentor, and the mentors that we use are Ben Williams, Colin Humphreys, Glenn Sullivan-Bissett, all rest that have been in for World Snooker on TV, and the Sheffield Examiner Corps, Paul Bannister. They then mentor them through their fledgling part of their career, monitor them, see how they go, giving them tips, and then once they think they're doing well, they can then get recommended to do Q School, which is when they come, and then me and Jan look at them and proper hone the skills then, as it were.
And, you know, we see players... By the way, this frame's got a bit ragged just while we're chatting here, but we've seen players talk about their heroes. Did you have sort of refereeing heroes you looked up to?
Not really, because I never thought of refereeing as a career. It was never something that I thought of.
One.
I sort of fell into it when I met Len that time. So, I mean, if you're going to use... Hero is a strong word, but the one I always look up to is Jan. I mean...
Well, he's so tall, you have to look up
you have to look at... Everyone looks up to Jan. But to me, Jan's just a godfather of snooker referees. He always has been. But we have an ongoing thing now. I think Jan is the all-time greatest referee, in my opinion. But I am at the moment. That's what I always tell him.
And the referees, you like to count who's done how many 147s. Now, the man refereeing this, Marcel Eckhart, of course, he did one on Sunday. So I think you're number 1, but he's catching you up.
7.
He's very close, yeah. It's an ongoing thing. Obviously, it's just a bit of fun because all we do in this break is get the balls out for them. But it's just a little thing amongst the referees. So I've refereed 9 maximum breaks, and that's the most at the moment. And with
14.
Marcel getting one on Sunday, that puts him on 8. And I don't mind telling you, I was actually marking that
15.
break in the Champ of Champs. And as he got to 120, I don't mind telling everybody the little smirk that Marcel gave me, because he knew it was coming. And as soon as he'd done the break, he walked up to the desk and he said, 1 more to go. So it's just all good fun.
And finally, will we see you in York?
Yes, I'll be in York. We start on Saturday. I'll be there until the Thursday.
23.
Because then I have to leave because I'm tournament directing the German Masters qualifiers that start just after there. So I have to leave and get that one set up. But I'll be there until Thursday. But I'm really looking forward to it with the new setup. I don't know what you call it, like a double Masters with the 2 tables, or the mini
30.
worlds, if you like, the way it's going to go. But I'm really looking forward to this new format for it.
Excellent. We look forward to seeing you, Brendan. Thanks for coming to chat to us.
Cheers, Dave. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks to Brendan. Meantime, as I say, got a bit ragged, that frame. A few misses, but Tepchire back in.
31.
Trailing by 22. Dinger was going well at one point, 53-0 up.
$38.
Must say snooker's not really like, for example, football, which is an extreme example where the officials kind of bear the brunt of players' anger. I think
39.
the players respect the officials in our sport, and there's a nice relationship, as indeed there is with pretty much everyone on the tour, really, everyone in their respective roles. And the man here, referee Marcel Eckhart, is an excellent referee. Very authoritative and always on the ball.
Tepchire Unu 46.
I've noticed though, Stephen, you know, in a sport like cricket, you often get ex-players become umpires, but I don't know any snooker players who want to become a referee. Not an ambition for you, no?
You're right, I suppose. Yeah, there's not really many that ever do that. I don't see why they wouldn't. Maybe they've played for long enough. They've had enough of the sport. That's it. I can only imagine, but no, not too sure. And like you say, Marcel,
1.
fantastic referee, also involved in the pool as well. Myself and a couple of the players, Oliver Brown and Oliver Lyons, went down to the Moscone Cup final last year at Alexandra Palace, and Marcel was refereeing, and if ever his professionalism was in doubt, us 3 on the beers trying to get his attention from the crowd, he was having none of it.
6.
Kept a straight face and did the job at hand. You know, he's a class ref.
So we're down to the colours. Ding, as I say, who made the running, he led 53-0. Has another chance after Tepchire missed that last red.
You could see he was just changing his mind a few times on that shot. He was up and down the white a fraction, got up and then readdressed it, but was still up and down the white. Wasn't quite sure, felt he was always cannoning the green, so put himself under a little bit of pressure here.
You're kidding. Oh, just for a minute. Just for a minute. The fluke of all flukes. Well, it's been quite low quality this frame, but eventful. And we're down to the last few colours. That's not good. Ding's already 15 in front here.
Well, that was definitely potable, that red to middle, and didn't really get close to it. Nowhere near thin enough. So a chance for Tepchaya to possibly steal this opening frame.
3. Seven.
Well, I'm not too sure what he's played there. I think he was trying to nip into the white and hold it. Didn't hit it anywhere near what he intended to, so just a safety shot.
Tepchaya no 7.
Yeah, it's been quite a nervy start, but remember, it's only a couple of years since they were both in the top 16, so they both suffered a little bit last 2 years. Points coming off haven't helped. Tepchaya the shootout, Ding mentioned the UK Championship. They're in false positions in the rankings. Ding 38, Tepchaya new 59, but they're both much better than that. We know that, and they know that as well of each other. Of course, Ding very much settled in Sheffield. He has his own academy, doesn't he? Very close to here.
Yeah, just over the road, in fact, where he's bringing a number of players through. All the talent there, and practice there a bit myself throughout the week. Nopon, Tian, Pang, Wu Yiza. A lot of great players from that academy. And obviously the main man himself, Ding. So needs a bit of luck, but he's not going to get any, so one good shot on the blue from Ding. Should be frame over.
Five.
Nice pot, but still only 13 points ahead. Obviously 13 on the table, so a possible respot if Ding can't pot this or get it safe.
Ding Junho 5.
And he's played a lovely safety there. Great touch play from Ding, judged the pace to perfection.
Foul. Ding Junhui 7.
Oh dear, well, that's probably it for this frame. The 7 points means he needs 2 snookers now, Tepchaya. Give it a go though. But really, he needs Ding to foul the black, and then it's back to 13 again. 20 in it. This is not quite a hopeless task, but wouldn't see it done often. Just had Brendan Moore in talking about refereeing, and Chris has tweeted in to say, Brendan says Jan Verhaas is the best ref of all time. What about Charlie Chambers? He refereed Walter Lindrum's world record break, 4,137, which would have taken a while, I agree. Because Dave Ford, as we see Tepchaya get a snooker, Dave Ford refereed that 2-hour marathon between Fergal O'Brien and Dave Gilbert. Ding coming off the back cushion here. I think in general the refs, they just love the game. They love being part of it. I think you have to really to do that job, and you see them all at breakfast in the hotel. They're all looking forward to the day ahead. Ooh, double kiss.
Yeah, and it's probably why you don't see so many players going to do the refereeing after. We all love the game, but they do concentrate for long periods of times. The refs, like you say, some matches go well into the early hours. Probably expect some of that this evening, with a few of the matches being pulled off. Always on the feet. They do a cracking job, to be fair.
Yeah, the actual, I mean, without getting bogged down in this, the actual world record break in billiards was 499,135, which took 5 weeks to compile. Tom Rees. So, never mind the referee, what about his opponent? As Ding fails to pop the pink there to end the frame. Five weeks, you know, what did he do? Just read a newspaper, I guess. Might be why billiards never quite took off as a TV sport.
Back in the days of drinking and smoking at the table, you'd be in a bit of a mess after 5 weeks of sat in your chair, that's for sure. Tepchaya's had a few good little half attempts at getting in behind this black. He's been getting close, but you just feel it's inevitable. Ding's going to continue to roll the pink over the pocket.
6.
Well, punch it in.
The first frame.
pot?
Yeah, that's ended that, and Ding Junhui, well, it wasn't the cleanest of frames, but he's off and running as he attempts to reach the Barbican in York, where of course he's been UK champion in 2005, 2009 and most recently 2019. He leads 1-0. It's best of 11. The winner plays either Robert Milkins or Zhang Anda, and that's currently 1-0 to Zhang Anda. There are tickets still available for Judgment Day. You see, nice crowd in actually this afternoon. If you want to join us Wednesday and Thursday, they start at £10. You can go to the World Snooker website, wst.tv, click on tickets, and that's also the case. They start at £10 for the qualifiers. It's also the case for the main event. There are some sessions still left. They start at £20 again, wst.tv, click on tickets. But coming up very shortly, we will have another competition to actually win tickets to next Wednesday's evening session. So we'll do that in frame 3. We'll have a question for you, and we'll give you the ways to enter, and maybe you can join us in York. Of course, Ding had to qualify for the Crucible back in 2016. He dropped out the top 16 then, and he got to the final. It's getting through the qualifying. When you get through, you're obviously dangerous. You're well played in. The pressure's on the seeds in the first round because of the ranking points and everything. So, again, it's just a question of getting there. He actually had to qualify this year. Played a great match with Karen Wilson. Just came up short. 10-8. He had a chance to make it 9 each. But it was a terrific match.
Massive misjudgment from Tepchaya there, double kiss, worst case scenario. Black available as well, so great early chance for Ding. Get his hand on the table again and get his scoring boots on. We've had another tweet from David on Twitter. It's quite an interesting one, to be fair. What age do snooker players peak on average, and why is Jimmy White the anomaly in the sport at 61 when surely age brings skill and experience? Yeah, it's an interesting question, that. There's not really anything that stops a player from going on the older they get and continuing to play. I suppose only your health, really. It's not the most physical sport in the world, but your eyesight in particular. And I think one thing for me that stands out in that respect is your desire to continue to practice and compete. It's a hard slog, trust me, and it takes a particular person to be able to continue to do that and put the hard hours in when no one's watching. Like I say, fair play to Jimmy, still going at it and producing the goods 16. As well.
What a lovely shot that was. He's got the balls at his mercy here. Yeah, I think if you look at the two
17
dominant forces of the 80s and 90s, Steve Davis and Stephen Hendry, Steve Davis just carried on playing because he loved playing. He was fascinated by snooker, and he accepted turning up, and maybe, you know, he wouldn't win that often, but every now and again, when he got to the UK final against Ding 2005, beat Higgins 2010 at the Crucible, things could happen. Hendry was not interested in enjoying playing, he was interested in enjoying winning, and when that was no longer possible, he packed it in. I think Stephen Hendry
25
was so intense when he was young, in the end he sort of burned himself out. I think that's why he didn't continue into his 30s as a sort of serial winner. Of course, he has made well, some sort of comeback lately. He's not been that successful in terms of just playing, never mind results. But everyone's different. I guess everyone approaches the game differently. Jimmy just absolutely loves it. I actually saw him. I went up to one of the shops in the city centre here, just saw him, had a chat with him, and he's absolutely buzzing about playing, of course, tomorrow afternoon against Dominic.
33.
Now, dare we say that it's all reds and blacks, Stephen? I know you were sort of tempted to, weren't you?
I was just about to, yeah. And he's opened the reds lovely. Still a little bit of work to do. They're not in the most perfect position, but if there's anyone on this planet that can control that white
40.
around this area of the table, it's the man that's just got down to play the shot. Pinpoint accuracy required.
41.
To just open this frame up a bit.
Yeah, and we were talking about, I mean, this is a very minor sideshow, but the Marcel on 8 maximums, Brendan on 9, they'd be level, but I think it's more about the man at the table here. Ding, who made a 147 in the 2008 UK Championship.
48.
Just not come far enough for the red into left corner. Wanted to be on that red to hold for the black. So he's going to have to play a good shot here, probably through the gap between reds. Yeah, great
49.
shot.
Actually been 19 maximums in the UK Championship. Of course, it's been held since 77. First, Willie Thorne, 987. But this is the event where we've had a 148, uniquely Jamie Burnett.
Oh, he's just missed the cannon on the red. He has still got another red, but it's a little bit more
56.
delicate positional shot now. Possibly have to play a little brush cannon.
$57.
Yeah, that's okay.
Ding Junhui's made 6 maximums in professional competition, including one at the Masters.
$64.
This is starting to look a very good chance, you've got to say.
65.
There's no separate prize. The high break prize is 15,000. Chow Yu-peng has made a 144. That's
72.
top of the list at the moment. He's about to secure the frame, then he can give it his absolute 100% focus.
Just checking the red underneath the pink, see if it will pop to right middle, which
73.
would help. And the 2 reds just below it. But really only the 2 problem balls at the minute. Just checking that red if you can get that underneath the pink. Probably 3
80.
shots away really from this being a really good chance for a 147 now.
81.
Yeah, that red, if you can finish somewhere on the pink spot ideally, that second red in may just go, but again, got to be accurate. Can afford to overhit it to be on the red that he's on now. So in removing
88.
this one, opens up the reds to middle.
89.
Judd Trump's maximum at the weekend was the 5th this season, the 181st in snooker history. Mark Selby made the 100th in this very tournament in 2013.
$96. $97.
Oh, he's just lost the white a touch. So he's probably going to be forced to play a cannon here unless the red goes to left corner. I'm not sure it does. Great shot.
104.
He's always been really admired by other players for his break building, and this is why.
105.
Can Ding do this? It would really light up these qualifiers, wouldn't it?
That's tight, that red, to get past the pink for right middle. He's just had a good look at it. Maybe forced to play another cannon if it doesn't go. Well, it does, so one good shot.
112.
Leave a nice angle on the black.
$13. 7 balls to go. Sounds simple, doesn't it? But there's pressure on them because it's still such a special moment. No matter how many there've been, Ronnie O'Sullivan says this is the one time as a player you're going to get a bit nervous.
And that looks a good pace. Keep going.
120.
Got a nice arc on the cue ball off that cushion, so one good pot here, Ding.
Oh, what a shame. What a shame. He wasn't ideal on it, and he's missed it. And you could see the little bit of disappointment, not just from him, but from this audience as well. So 120, but no maximum. And, well, you can understand he's disappointed. He wanted to make it from very early on. He was determined to stay on that black, not to be. I think Tepchire and Nu can probably sympathise, because, of course, it was in this tournament he missed the last black, even worse, in York.
Yeah, it was a great chance. You have to say it was the last red that done him. Didn't finish nicely on the black, had to force the cue ball through 2 cushions. Didn't quite get enough pace on it. The line was perfect. I thought it was just going to travel. It just pulled up, so good chance, but on we go.
3rd frame.
Yeah, and he's got to try and... I mean, look, he's 2-0 up, he's playing great, but he's still disappointed. He's got to try and sort of put that to one side, focus on this next frame. I don't know whether you probably haven't commentated on a maximum yet, Stephen. That was a shame for all of us, wasn't it? We were all hoping he'd do it.
Yeah, no, absolutely, I haven't, so would have been nice to see one, but the way these guys play now, anytime a player gets in around the black spot, gets the reds open, you half fancy it. Standard's so good now.
Well, there was one year where Joe Johnson was on for one, and this was in the days when, you know, they were rare. I think it was 50,000, the prize. He missed the pink. And I spoke to him about it recently, and he said the problem is I was in Barbados on the brown. He was planning his holiday and all sorts. Yeah, Tepchire, when he missed it, it was a big story, because obviously the UK is a big tournament. He went on TFI Friday, actually, to prove he could pop the black, but obviously, you know, it didn't really count, ultimately, for anything.
1.
That counts, though, the double, and he's nicely on the black.
Here we go. Maximum again, then. Let's have another. No, yeah, he must have. He was obviously devastated. Tepchire missing that last black. I remember watching it live. Like I say, a big BBC event. A fantastic accolade to have had on your CV.
8.
But he just needs to refocus himself here, Tepchire. He needs to get a frame on the board, settle himself down, get his rhythm going again.
9. $14. 15.
miss on
no
blue.
15.
He missed one similar yesterday against Martin O'Donnell, going into the pack of reds.
Surely not. It's not enough room.
Yellow ball.
So just while we watch this little exchange, I did promise to do the competition question this frame, so here goes. Now the prize is 2 tickets to next Wednesday night's evening session at the Barbican. So that's Wednesday the 16th of November, 2 tickets to the evening session at the UK Championship. And the question is, we mentioned Stephen Hendry earlier, how many century breaks did Stephen Hendry compile in the 1994 UK Championship final? It was a best of 19 final, first to 10. How many centuries did Stephen Hendry compile in the 1994 final? You can send your answers either to the World Snooker Tour Twitter account, so that's at WeAreWST, that's at WeAreWST, or we have an email address, which is Cazoo, that's the sponsor, Cazoo Competition at WST.tv. So Cazoo Competition at WST.tv will reveal the winner and the answer before the end of this match. So the question is, how many centuries did Stephen Hendry make in the 1994 UK Championship final? At WeAreWST or Cazoo Competition at WST.tv. Cazoo Competition at WST.tv. Good luck.
One.
So Tepchai back in again at the table.
8.
A little bit awkward the pack. Couple of loose reds to go at.
9.
Just floats around the table, Tepchai. So fast, so fluent. Got a very natural eye for the game, sees the shot quickly. Just gets down and plays it, no messing around.
15.
Lovely long swooping cue action. Really draws that cue back, accelerates through. Gets so much response out of the cue ball.
16.
So just into the pack of reds now, bit of screw. Hold the cue ball. That's nicely played.
23.
Yeah, you know, whatever happens, it's going to be quick with this man, but he's a heavy scorer. He made
24.
5 centuries last year against Stephen Hendry in the first round. Last 1-8. Appropriately enough, he's made 147 career centuries, although that may go up here.
$31.
He's actually now made 3 maximums, so it's wrong for him to be thought of as the man who missed that black, because he's made 3 in competition. Not that many people can boast that.
No, I'm quite surprised he's only made 147 centuries. A player of his class that is renowned for his heavy scoring, I would have thought he'd have made more.
32.
But as you say, another chance for possibly a frame winning break now.
$39. Tapchayono 39.
Just trying to pinch a tiny bit of the pocket with a little bit of side. Trying to straighten up the line of the cue ball to get nicely on the black. White was just travelling away from it with the natural angle. They just misjudged that one.
One. Eight.
So he's lost the white a bit with that positional shot, but dead straight, nice and still on the shot. Deliver it properly. Yeah, well played.
9.
That was a lovely view right down the line of Ding's cue. Shows how straight and still he stays when he actually delivers that cue. Fantastic
16.
technique.
Ding Junhui 16.
Well, he thought it was in. You could tell that from his reaction, but it's not. And what a chance here. 37 to the good already. Not much more to do. A couple of reds needed to pull the frame back.
Lovely, thanks. 1.
So Tepchaya has made a few errors so far, but it looks like he's about to get on the scoreboard. Apologies if you can hear banging and crashing in the background. They're actually getting our studio ready for tomorrow's Judgment Day coverage. So it's all been
8.
put together.
9. 15.
Well, Ding got very close to the red, as I say. He felt it was going to drop, but it didn't. And the
16.
lead Tepchaya had. As he develops that red, he was surely always going to win the frame, and that's what he's done. So this has been a quick match. We've had a lot of drama already. Obviously, frame 2 with the attempted maximum. Ding missing the yellow on 120.
23.
The big moment. And Tepchaya anew looking to
24.
deal double disappointment to Ding by knocking him out of this UK Championship. Both players, whoever comes through, if they were to go all the way to qualify, clearly be dangers in the draw.
$30.
So
30.
Tepchaya anew
Tapchayono.
has pretty much dominated that frame, and Ding's lead is reduced to 2-1 with one more frame to come before the mid-session interval. Can watch your Remember Tables 1 to 4 live on Discovery Plus and follow all the action on World Snooker Tour's social media platforms throughout the UK Championship on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok for match clips, interviews behind the scenes content and much more. And also, if you want to stay in touch with what's happening on the World Snooker Tour, you can sign up for the newsletter for all the latest news, plus special offers, priority ticket windows, details on wst.tv. Good to see a little crowd in, quite a nice crowd this afternoon, including, I'm sure, supporters of both these two. There's quite a large Chinese contingency just in snooker terms in Sheffield. You mentioned Ding's Academy, there's the Victoria Academy as well, close by the Crucible.
Fourth frame, Tinchun Hu to break.
So frame 4 already.
Possible plant here as well, and well, this is all or nothing. Wow. Oh, look at the... Oh, it's just travelled.
One.
Thought he was going to finish perfect on the black there. Very aggressive shot again from Tepchaya. Doesn't hold back in those situations. And so needs to play a good safety shot. Try and force a mistake out of Ding. Now the reds are everywhere. You feel whoever gets in next will be favourite to make a sizable contribution.
Tepchaya no one.
And that's not the best safety he's ever played. Not really put Ding under too much pressure there. Well, he's having a close look at this. There might be a gap right through the reds. And if there is, that's unbelievable. Well, he could get through, but it was to play
One.
the plant. And again, going full-blooded. May count himself a touch unfortunate that he's not finished a little bit better on at least something. Wow, that was a massive shot to go
Tepchaya
for.
no one.
Really awkward queuing. Made the pot extremely difficult, but he doesn't shy away from those.
I think it explains his inconsistency, because you've got to get them, haven't you? If you don't get them, then you're going to be punished more times often than not, particularly with a supreme break builder like Ding, who has a chance here to get going in frame 4. He did get them last year against Hendry. He made those 5 centuries. That was an awesome display, but on this occasion he'll be concerned, I'm sure, sat in his seat.
7. 8. 15. 16.
I think hasn't played actually much snooker this season, just 4 events. He lost 3rd round of the British Open, 2nd of the Northern Ireland Open, and the other 2 he's qualified for, Scottish and English, so yet to play in the final stages. So he's only actually lost 2 matches to Robbie Williams and Michael White.
23.
But clearly, to rise up the rankings, he needs a deep run in a tournament, and there's few better than this one. This is a big money tournament, 250,000 the winner.
24.
38 in the world now. You feel really there's only one direction he can go from there, and that's up. But this is a big match. If he loses this, he gets no ranking points.
Yeah, it brings about a slightly different pressure
30.
to the seed. Of course, they get the prize money, which is great, but those ranking points are vital,
31.
particularly for Ding at the moment, where he's currently situated. But he's made a good start to this game. He looks like he's hitting the ball quite nicely at the moment, which comes from plenty of hours on the practice table. I know he's
38.
been practicing hard at his academy just over the road.
$39.
Well, for Ding, this is kind of like shelling peas, isn't it? But he's got to just keep his concentration, because it might look easy, but if you take your eye off any sort of pot, then you can miss it. He knows that he's in early control of this match. The Honest Scribbler on Twitter has summed it up quite well, actually. He says, Tiptar and Ding are 2 of my
45.
favourite players to watch, as they're both heavy scorers. One with precise positional play, and the other just edge-of-your-seat flamboyance. That's how we should have introduced it, really, because that's spot on, isn't it? And this is the man with the precise positional play, Ding.
46. 47. 52. 53.
So lead goes to 57.
59.
Break to 59. Red and the colour will be enough to take a 3-1 lead into the interval.
60.
And you have to say it's definitely deserved. He's been the better of the 2 players so far. Tepchai just not quite found his brilliant best yet.
$67.
Ding just having a few little troubles with the sticky logo on his waistcoat catching on his cue.
68.
Yeah, Tipchaya is a very exciting player to watch, but as I say, if they don't go in, taking on the low tariff shots, if they don't go in, then trouble is waiting around the corner, particularly when you're playing someone like Ding,
75.
who, as we know, is one of the great break builders of all time. In fact, he's currently on 598 career centuries before this effort.
76.
It looked a good scoring opportunity for him. He's controlled things well. That precision that was referenced by our correspondent.
83.
Yeah, and it goes back to that big shot Tepchai took on to left middle, the pink.
84.
Slightly hampered by the red, and 2-1 down. Was a huge shot to take on, but he backed himself, didn't get it. You can't argue with his shot selection there. Fully committed to it.
90.
Sometimes you've got to play the percentages, but it's hard for a player like Tepchai, who's all out attack, to
91.
rein it in, if you like. But this is what the best players in the world do. They punish you hard. And Ding's going to make a century to take us into the interval.
I think everybody just enjoys watching Ding play well. There's a real elegance to him when he's playing his best stuff.
98.
He was disappointed, of course, not to make the maximum, but he's pressed on here, this green, for his second century of this match.
101.
Looking good, halfway towards the final qualifying round of this UK Championship.
$105. $110.
They've not been hanging around. I don't think we thought this would be a slow match.
16.
It's taken just about an hour to get to the interval. And Ding does so with a lovely clearance of 123 to follow the 120 that, of course, could have been
when I see you
a 147 in frame 2.
back at 51.
So Tepchai with a little bit to think about. Ding looking good and leading at the interval
Quietly as you possibly
by
can,
3
please.
frames
Thank
to
you.
1. Now then, if you're a Ding Junhui fan, stay with us, because of course it was 2005 when he won the China Open, and later that year in York he took on Steve Davis in the final of the UK Championship.
Just held his hand up, acknowledging that he was a little bit lucky there. It was a good shot he played to get the yellow tight on the cushion, but to come up and be in behind the brown was a bonus. And now Steve Davis needs all the luck he can muster up off the bottom cushion, hit the yellow. Can he knock it safe? This crowd would love to see this match continue.
It's a big pocket roller blackwood. You could play the cross with the snooker. Keep an eye on the black, because if he'll get the white in behind green and brown. And he's just prepared to flick it towards the black, and that's a clever shot.
Great stuff from both players here, and it has to be said that young Ding Junhui has matched Steve in the tactical battle in this final. Oh, what's the knuckle? If he doesn't hit the knuckle, he's got the perfect snooker.
That'll do now.
This
Quiet
yellow
now, please.
is almost straight. He's somehow got to get the white back past the baulk line to give himself a chance of the green. And there you see what he's faced with. He's having a go here. Look where he's aiming to hit the cue ball. Now where's the yellow going this time? He's knocked the green into a slightly safer position. He's stuck the yellow up, but now that the green has been moved. He's got to somehow, and Steve knows that Ding has somehow got to pot the yellow, and you would think stun up past the pink to get somewhere near the green. I don't know if he's got enough angle to pot the yellow and come off the top cushion and just swing it over towards the green. Where's the cue ball? Oh, what a tough green he's left it.
Well, if the white didn't draw, he would have played that shot absolutely perfectly. It would have been dead straight. The fact that it's jawed does make this green very tricky. We know he's going to take it on because that's the kind of player he is. Or at least we think he's going to take it on. He may be queuing too awkwardly.
Yeah, he's still going to take it on. He needs that extension just to make it a little bit more comfortable. But he potted a red up into the left corner, which was even more difficult than this. But what a big shot this is. This could give him the UK title.
Shh. Quiet now, please.
I think he'll play it in such a way, though, he may try and cover the pocket with the brown, play it reasonably slow, try and get on the brown in the same pocket and try and cover it just in case he misses it.
Well, what about the position he's in? I think we detected a little smile from Ding there.
I think he had wind.
Wow. Dear me. No.
He's a little Dennis, isn't he? The yellow he played very, very well. And if he had just caught the jaw of the middle pocket, he would have been perfectly on it. But pretty clever shot there. Steve's not certain to be able to get this green safe, and he's a master at the safety. Well, this fun has caught the imagination of everybody in York and everybody in Great Britain who was watching this live with us. The 48-year-old legend Steve Davis in another major final. Quite remarkable. Always not hit it.
That's amazing.
Thanks, Steve. Yep. Okay.
Left that a long way short. And he's got a bit of angle here. But what a delicate shot he's got to play here. Twice across the table to try and land on the brown.
Three.
Well, it's all about this one shot, isn't it? If he gets on the blue, it's game and match over.
Seven.
It's been quite a remarkable Travis Perkins UK Championship.
Twelve.
14 ahead, 13 on the table. The pink to make absolutely sure. It's not
King John
quite
Wade, 12.
over yet.
That's the first time we've seen movement on Ding's shot when he played the pink there. He was just willing the pink and he virtually let go of his cue when he played that shot. Just watch his action here when he goes down. Look, he's moving, he's willing it in. Wow.
The pink is so close to the cushion, it's so difficult to try and get in behind the black. Now, he's coming off the side cushion here. Surely he can't get the white in behind the black from this. No, but that'll do nicely. The black is not too badly placed if Steve can get a chance to get in behind it.
Well, I hope Ding doesn't play to get him behind the black. He could get a double kiss. That's a clever shot.
A very clever shot. Steve Davis tapped the table there. Where Ding has knocked the black now, that cuts the chances of the snooker.
That's a chance here. One cushion, or two cushions in behind the black. The only problem with that is doubling the pink over towards the right-hand corner. This has been a fantastic frame.
It is so difficult to get a snooker where the black is situated.
In this situation, Dennis, you would always leave plenty of distance between cue ball and object ball, wouldn't you, like he has done there. Makes things so very, very difficult for snookers.
Well, I said in the opening frame, regardless of the score, young Ding Junhui was going to learn so much from this match with Steve Davis. He has learned a great deal, but he's also going to take the title. Oh.
First sign of nerves, Dennis, I think. It's amazing how, if that was game ball, meaning that Steve
settle down now, please.
Knocking that in, the fact that he's got that little bit of insurance, it's amazing how many times people miss those. Now Steve has got a chance here, twice across, and just cut the pink in behind the brown spot area.
Bit of a chance here, not quite hard enough.
May play the double here because he's leaving plenty of distance between cue ball and object ball.
The pink's close this time. It's very close. I think he can keep this pink out, but where's it going to go? He couldn't keep it out.
6. Steve Davis playing that from the front.
Steve Davis applause the Chinese player, Ding Junhui. The crowd are delighted. Okay, Steve Davis was a favourite, but there's the reaction. That's how much it means to this young man. Unbelievable. 18 years of age, the second youngest player to lift the UK Championship. Well done, Ding.
Great sporting events make great stories. On Discovery Plus, watch Lycra Warriors battle.
It has been a blockbuster.
Hot shots fire.
The legend.
Sharpshooters strike.
Ronnie O'Sullivan is in 7th heaven.
And thrill seekers zoom. There's live sport for everyone on Discovery Plus.
Welcome back, everyone. We've just seen Ding there in another very significant moment for the globalisation of professional snooker. He looked a lot younger than he does now. What a great achievement it was to beat the 6 times world champion and 6 times UK champion Steve Davis in that final. And he's certainly looking as though he's on his way to victory here this afternoon. If you're just joining us, you've missed a lot of drama. Ding leads 3-1. He won a scrappy opening frame. Then in the second frame, 15 reds, 15 blacks, only to miss the yellow off its spot, albeit employing the rest. So missed out on a possible 147. Some might say a probable 147. Then Tepchara Nu won the third frame, but Ding made 1-2-3 very stylishly in the fourth. Consequently, Ding has now made 599 century breaks in his professional career in tournaments, so he needs one more to become the 7th player to construct 600 centuries. As for Tepchara Nu, I think it's fair to say, Stephen Hallworth, he needs to tighten up.
He does, yeah. He took on a couple of shots that were very risky in that last frame that left Ding in, and someone of Ding's class is going to punish you severely, and he did just that. Tepchai's obviously got the game there. He just needs to try and find his brilliant best. Like we all know he can play. Given the chance, he can score very heavy, but the flip side of it, he's got to keep it tighter. Ding's looking in fine stroke at the moment, so he needs to do more.
Now, before they return, let me give you the very latest from the other tables. David Gilbert, former Crucible semi-finalist, he's 3-0 up on Leipe Fan. Gilbert, a heavy scorer. And this afternoon, he's put together contributions of 60 and 80. Ben Wollaston is taking on Mark King. It's 2-1 at the moment to Wollaston. Looks like being 3-1. Not there yet, but King does need snookers in the fourth frame. It's not been the best of times lately for Joe Perry. Yes, he won the Welsh Open last season, but this season it's been slim pickings, and he's 2-0 down to Yuan Sejun. David Lilly, former world seniors champion, he finds himself 2-1 up on Graham Dott, the 2006 world champion. Rob Milkins and Zangander, it's 2-1 to Milkins there. Milkins, I thought, acquitted himself really well against Ronnie O'Sullivan in the first round of the Champion of Champions last week, even though he lost 4-2. Now here's a player who suddenly burst into life, Zach Surety. He's 4-0 up on Martin Gould after breaks of 58, 72 and 127. And then one more score to give you. Jordan Brown against Si Jiahui. It's quite slow going there. 1-1. Now we've got a special guest coming in for a quick interview to preview the Judgment Day action over the next couple of days. And although I know him really well, I've spent many an hour chatting away. I think this is the first time we've ever shared a microphone, Rob Walker. So welcome to the commentary box.
Yeah, thanks. Yes, thanks very much, Phil. If I can remember where the on switch is. This is the first time we've commentated and worked together directly, and an absolute pleasure. And what a brilliant couple of days this has turned out to be.
Well, so many storylines. Obviously, the 147 would have been high up there, but I think it will take some knocking off the Jimmy White victory last night. That was the story for me of yesterday.
Oh, absolutely incredible. And maybe you said, I watched some of the match. I loved the way he blew a kiss to the camera after the match. And I loved how generous Stephen Maguire was with his response at the end. And you said it yourself yesterday, Phil. Jimmy has said he starts getting excited when the prospect of a big win or a big story unfolds. And 30 years on, bidding to make the last 32 of the UK for the first time in more than a decade, maybe the question with Dominic tomorrow is whether Jimmy's excitement can be reined in and he can finish the job. Because from a neutral's point of view, you and I work with Dominic, he's a great guy. From an outsider's point of view, from a neutral's point of view, many, many people will want to see the 60-year-old whirlwind champion from 30 years ago winning the match, and he'll be aware of that.
Yeah, they'll want to see the 60-year-old beat the spring chicken who's 50, Dominic Dale. So we're guaranteed a century there, the combined ages of the two players. Now, you're in the commentary box for a brief while, Rob, to tell us and to preview what's going to happen over the next couple of days in terms of Judgment Day.
Yes, normally Judgment Day is reserved for the World Championship, but when World Snooker Tour decided to rejig how this tournament would work and go straight to two tables at the Barbican, it gave us an opportunity to recreate Judgment Day in the UK Champs. So over the next 2 days, I will be joined by Dave Hendon and the darling of Dublin, Ken Doherty, who was in fine fettle and form here in Sheffield last night. He really is a very good singer, but I think he'll leave the singing for the evening activities. He's going to be with us in the commentary box. Basically, we will be on air every time there is a movement in terms of a big break or an opportunity for somebody to get close to the winning line. We will switch around from all the matches. You won't miss a single thing. We will be on air from first ball to last ball, all throughout tomorrow, all throughout Thursday, and, added drum roll, we will do the draw for the last 32 of the UK champs after the afternoon session on Thursday. So basically, whatever is going on, if we sense there's somebody closing in on a century, we've got this piece of equipment called the Octo Screen, where we can flick around and suddenly focus on a match on table 4 and then come back to the main event on table 1. So I'm really, really looking forward to it. Some great stories. And Phil, what's been intriguing to look at the lineup so far for the final qualifying round for Judgment Day, there are quite a few players who've never made the last 32 of the UK champs. I mean, just to take one example, Dwayne Jones and Jamie Clark, they're both bidding for a maiden appearance in the last 32 at the UK champs. And Dwayne Jones, how well did he play to beat Anthony McGill? And he'd never won a match in qualifying at the UK champs in something like 5 or 6 successive attempts. So there are some great stories tomorrow. Of course, a lot of it's going to feature Dominic against Jimmy for all the obvious reasons, but we will be showing all the matches. Matthew Stevens has been playing really well, hasn't he, Phil? You know, former champion of the UK's, and he's in with a shout. He's taking on Wu Yiza. Liu Heo Chan against Andy Hicks. Andy Hicks had a great run last year. Hossein Vafai against Robbie Williams. Some brilliant matches tomorrow, and we'll be covering them all.
You know, when I first went to the UK Championship to cover the event in 1988, it was at Preston Guildhall. In the first week, 8 tables were in that arena. 4 on one side, 4 on the other. And you could monitor the tables by walking around the top of the arena, but you had to be there. This time you don't have to be. You can watch it anywhere in the world, simultaneous. As the action's going on, you and everyone else will be there in the heart of the play.
Yes, and you know, it's important that, I say this a few times when I'm interviewed, Phil, it's really important that all the players get their moment in the spotlight. Of course, you know, we're going to get excited. Well, you and I were there, the champ of champs, Ronnie O'Sullivan and Judd Trump. The headline stars always get loads of exposure, but Judgment Day allows us to feature other great players, and they are all great players. Everyone who's lining up tomorrow and on Thursday for an opportunity to make the last 32, every single one of them is world class, and it gives us a chance to put players who are not always in the spotlight front and centre as the drama unfolds.
One final question, Rob. You know, when you do the draw for the last 32, you've done draws many a time in the past for the World Championship. It's a massive responsibility. If things go a little bit incorrect, you get blamed.
Now listen, I'm reaching for a piece of wood. There isn't one, so I'll touch my head instead. You always have to be very, very careful when you're doing a draw. And you may find it interesting to note, Phil, I always ask Ivan Hershevitz to be standing just off camera. And we always go through the scenario of what happens if somebody makes a mistake or a ball gets dropped. Ivan would have to step in and say, we have to start this again, and that would be the point at which I'd have to turn to the camera and say, right, this is a very, very important process. A mistake has been made. You will need to come back and rejoin us in 10 minutes when the balls are all put back in the bag. So Ivan, and touchwood, it's never happened, but every single time I do a draw, Ivan and I always have a conversation about what we will do if it goes wrong, because you never know.
Well, fingers and several other things crossed for you, Rob.
Yeah, thanks very much, Phil. I'm really, really looking forward to it. As I said, it's so important that every player in with a shout is made to feel like a superstar, and they've got a great opportunity to reach the last 32 of one of our most prestigious ranking events. The greats have won it, and many, many other players have produced wonderful performances and great moments of drama with nail-biting semi-finals and quarter-finals. And getting through to the Barbican, getting their name in that draw on Thursday afternoon will mean an awful lot to many of them. So I just can't wait for the drama to unfold. And if you come and join us, you won't miss a single beat of it.
Well, thanks for joining us, Rob, on this eve of Judgment Day. You've made a compelling pitch for the next 2 days of coverage, as you normally do. Really looking forward to it. And right now, I think Tepchira Nu is looking forward to knocking in a few balls and getting involved in this match again. He's the kind of player who can rattle off frames in no time, so being 2 frames adrift means he could be potentially 15 minutes away from being level.
9. Sixteen. 17.
Mr. Energy has left the commentary box to be replaced by Stephen Hallworth.
Yeah, I can feel the vibes in here already. Feel plenty of energy when Rob's around. Great to have him on board for Judgment Day again. Really drums up the excitement, and so it should be. Big couple of days coming up for all the players.
32.
Make it through to the Barbican in York. This man will be
33.
hoping for a bit of a comeback here against Ding. Good little chance this.
When he was playing yesterday against Martin O'Donnell, I used this terminology, and I will use it again. He's infuriating because
41.
at his best, he's so good. If he could just harness that wonderful talent, the sky would be the limit.
Yeah, just look at how lovely he is to watch. He just floats around the table, just drops onto the shot. There's nothing forced about it. It's so natural. He just, as you see there, just falls into it. The cue action so silky
49.
smooth. Delivers the cue so well, and yeah, what a talent this man is.
$56. 57. 64.
The break goes to 64. This is a very simple frame ball.
65.
So Anu forced the tactical error, or more accurately, the tactical misjudgment from Ding Junhui, and now we could see the 3rd century of the match.
71. 78. 80.
Something so nice to watch about left-handed players. We've said it before, but it just looks so good on the shot.
87.
Just how he gets through the white, that long delivery. Just caresses through the ball. So pink and black for another century in this game.
98.
Simply breathtaking, effortless. Both of these players at times in this contest have made a tough game look preposterously easy. After 5 frames, Ding in front just at 3-2.
Can I offer you a fresh one? Can I offer you a fresh one?
You know, we've been concentrating on the Cazoo UK Championship, and quite rightly so, but before Christmas we've got another couple of world ranking events, 2 home nations tournaments, the Scottish and the English Opens. The Scottish at the Meadowbank Centre in Edinburgh, the English Open at the Brentwood Centre, not too far from the Matchroom headquarters. Of course, there's also the Welsh Open in the new year, and these Home Nations events provide great viewing for the snooker enthusiast. Predominantly, they are best of sevens, certainly early in the week, and consequently, if you go to the first few days, you get to see so many world-class players. And tickets start from just £10. The opening day is particularly appetising because the top 16, their matches, first round matches, are held over to the main venue, so they all play on that Monday. It's a manic Monday, and sometimes it's a marvellous Monday.
Frame 6. Tension who to break.
So Ding will want to put a stop to that. The last thing you want to do is to allow Tepchaya Anu to build any kind of momentum. One thing that's absolutely no surprise, this match is far outpacing any of the other 7 this afternoon.
Yeah, I think we'd have been surprised if it wasn't played at such a quick pace. Both of these players very fluent when they get in. Keen to get on with things. That's a good safety from Tepchaya. Caught that one well. Found a good line. Ding can't get past the brown to clip the thin edge of the pack, so 2 cushions. Try and flick off the red back to balk.
Foul in the miss. Tepchaya Anu 4 and the free ball.
Well, he was watching that cue ball intently, Stephen. A little concerned about the possibility of leaving a free ball, but this is not an easy opener. And also not easy to hold the cue ball. All in all, I think he's done a really good job there, actually.
Yeah, that was a good pot on the brown. Couldn't help but run on a little bit too far. It was very thin cut, so the cue ball was always going to be travelling, but like I say, he's done a pretty good job of it. And it's half a chance. Well, another miss pink to that same pocket.
Tepchaya Anu 1.
Cost him the 4th frame. Now this is by no means an easy chance for Ding. So just choosing to keep things tight.
I don't know whether it's just when I'm watching him play, but you do see Tepchaya Anu miss quite a lot of pots to the middle pocket. We saw it yesterday in his narrow defeat of Martin O'Donnell.
Foul. Did you know 4?
Well, there, I think the best place for the cue ball was the pocket. And it's actually ironic because the finest player in the history of Thai snooker, James Wattener, was an unbelievable middle pocket potter. I was talking to Stephen Hendry about that last week, actually. That was one of his great fortes. But I think it is a slight weakness with Anu.
Yeah, from what we've seen this week so far, he has missed a few to the middle, and they have cost him as well, so it's obviously something that's affected him so far this week. But you're right about James Watana. What a fabulous player, and you're right, he was a brilliant middle pocket potter. And that long red's gone astray for Tepchaya.
What's more, whacking into the bunch, Stephen, and opening them up. You don't want to do that against Ding. That's a recipe for a lengthy sit-down.
1.
Yeah, a little smile there from Tepchaya. He knows so much pressure on those sorts of pots, particularly against the game's greats.
6.
So he's just having a little look at this end of the table. The black isn't available at the moment. They're just having to work on blues for now. Meaning the cue ball's going to be travelling a bit of distance early on in this break. That's where fantastic cue ball control is required, and this man's got it in abundance.
$12. $13.
Now for him, that is grossly clumsy. Okay, the blue is still on, but with the cue ball close to the side cushion, this is not a gimme by any means. And position thereafter is not guaranteed either. I think the key to that, Stephen, he didn't try and do too much.
18.
Yeah, he couldn't do anything there with it, just drop it in. You're going to need another good pot here. This awkward bridging in the jaws of the middle pocket. Nice pot.
19.
Have you played Ding, and if so, what was the experience like?
I have, yeah. I remember playing him in the Welsh Open, maybe 2014, 2015. It was brilliant. He beat me 4-3 in the end. I remember missing a pink to middle.
23.
Just dropped to the near jaw. I was playing it dead weight. Left him with a chance not too dissimilar to this, really, where there was a lot of work to be done, but he made a fantastic break to pinch it. But yeah, it was brilliant playing the likes of Ding. You know, at the time he was cemented in the top 16, and it was a big occasion. Big occasion for me, anyway.
But what you've just said there is really interesting psychology, because you well recalled the result, the way the match went, and what was the key shot, and exactly how the key shot was played. That was 8 years ago. That's what snooker players do. We tend to forget the good ones, but when you miss one and it hurts and it costs, I don't think you ever forget.
No, you're right. I couldn't tell you if I won a game last week, but I can certainly tell you the balls I missed all them years ago. You're right, they do stick in your head. The only way you're going to learn, though, sometimes they hurt for a long period of time, and it's important to remember it and use it as motivation and try and find some encouragement out of it to try and improve.
Now, that wasn't the best of contacts for Ding. You saw the balls jump off the surface of the table, but the white just about made the journey to be on the correct side of the blue.
41. 42.
There, though, he caught that red too thin. Yes, it went into the pocket. Had he knocked it into the centre of the pocket, he would have been okay. As it is, he's on the incorrect side of the blue this time. Does he settle for a mid-distance spot after this?
He's building a lead, Ding, but he'll not feel safe just yet. He knows one mistake and Tepchire will have a great chance for a counter-attack, but played a pretty good positional shot there. Again, though, just finishing sort of in between, being perfect on either red. He's missed that one. That looked a bit kicky to me again as well.
Well, they kick thick, don't they? I agree with you. But Ding not punished at all. That red jumped.
Yeah, and just the reaction from the cue ball was a bit surprising. It didn't seem to move very far at all. I think the table's just playing slightly tough at the moment, which the players will have acknowledged. Just not quite getting the response out of the cue ball.
It's amazing, actually, how tables change their characteristics even in the course of a day, from session to session.
Yeah, and as we know, the atmosphere and temperatures affect the cloth. There might be a little bit of moisture in the air. It has just rained heavily at lunchtime here, so that could play a factor. The air conditioning, the heat from underneath the table, all those are factors.
I often tell this story, but I think it's illustrative. I remember commentating on an event in Romania a few years ago, and they played all of the quarterfinals on the same day. Now, the first two, the table was absolutely fine. By the end of the evening, the final quarterfinal, Neil Robertson, Anthony McGill, it was awful. It can happen. Tables can deteriorate during a day. They can improve.
6.
That was a crunching blue from Ding, right in the middle of the pocket. So a couple of good pots now. Oh, again, he's just took his eye. He was just trying to judge the cannon off the second red and just missed the initial red. There you see, just trying to flick off that red, go around the back of the black for the black into the same pocket.
Well, being 52 behind, that does Tepchire no favours whatsoever, tying up not one red, but two.
Possible chance of a cross double here from Ding. Could play it as a shot to something. Back down for the black, but he's missed it. Doesn't want to cannon that red. Oh, he's got away with it, although he might have left a makeable plant. No, it's very tough, this. Got to hit that second red very thin. Yeah, that's too thin.
And although the cue ball is very close to the red, I think it is clippable.
One.
Again, that seemed a heavy contact.
4.
Well, he's slowly moving towards the winning line in this frame, but he won't like the way it's gone. It's been a scruffy old frame, this, and Ding is a perfectionist.
Pink ball. Danger no 5.
Oh, nearly fluked the red. Got close to the one he was going for, but got even closer to the other red that he cannoned.
Now, the one thing very much in Ding's favour here, he's 57 ahead with 59 on, so Tepchara Nu will need at least 3 blacks, and look where the highest value colour resides.
Yeah, and that's horrible on the pink. Super thin cut. Good shot. This is a tall order, that's for sure. He's got to somehow pop this red. Possibly screw into the black if he can, because I don't think he can drop it in dead weight and hold.
Tepchara No 7.
I thought at one stage Nu was going to leave Ding a dolly red across the top cushion. There's no scoreboard leeway whatsoever for Nu, being 50 behind, 51 on. He has to pot all 3 reds with 3 blacks, then the colours to snatch the frame by a single point.
Yeah, and it's made even more difficult now. Ding's had a bit of a result. That red going tight on the side rail. Does no favours for Tepchara.
Last night, funnily enough, in the corresponding frame to this, the 6th, Jimmy White cleared up with 57 to steal it on the black by a single point, but the balls were far more accessible than this. Can't imagine there'll be any impatience from Ding. The onus squarely on Anu to try and get the table a little more friendly.
And Ding will be going nowhere near that red on the right side of the table as we look at it. Bit more insurance for him.
It's been 3 years since Ding won his 14th and most recent world ranking title. He badly wants to end that drought, and after a shot like that from Tepchara Nu, he's been greatly assisted.
Yeah, the double kiss not turning out as Tepchara would have liked. Oh, but that's a missed opportunity to close out this frame from Ding.
And a few times in this frame, Stephen, I'm sure you'll agree, Ding, having missed balls, and he's missed plenty, has been fortunate.
He has, yeah, and sometimes it's those little rubs of the green that you need. We all have them go for and against us throughout the course of matches and tournaments. Amazing how many times you look back over a tournament when someone's lifted the trophy and there being a standout moment where it could have all gone wrong for them. This time last year Tepchaya was in a decider with Xingtong, could have gone either way. Obviously Xingtong went on to lift this title.
Eight.
Yes, fine margins can mould a career. I thought the opening red was excellent from Anu. He's a master break builder, but even this surely is a little too much to ask.
Tepchaya or no 8?
Got a chance to get him behind the black again. He's not hit that too well. Yeah, it was a big target down this side of the table, but mishit it. So one good piece of cueing from Ding. And that should be the frame.
He took a while, longer than we thought, to win it. But now it is 4-2.
3. 4.
This is only their 4th meeting on the Pro Tour. All 3 of their previous encounters have gone close. Ding would love a comfortable victory here.
8.
But he'll be wary of Unnu.
10. And the frame.
We've had half and half. 3 relatively scrappy frames. That was perhaps the most scrappy of the lot. And we've had 3 frames that we've seen wonderful breaks. All centuries. Ding has won 4 of the 6. He's got a 2-frame advantage, and he's 2 frames away from appearing in the final qualifying round of this, the Cazoo UK Championship. Now, because that frame was quite lengthy, we need to catch up with the scores on the other tables. Dave Gilbert is taking on the Chinese teenager, Lei Pei Fan. Gilbert leading by 3 frames to 1. Ben Wollaston and Mark King. It's 4-1 now to Wollaston. Yuan Sejun and Joe Perry, 2-2. That's good from Joe because he was 2-0 down. And he's not been getting all of that many positive results lately. Another comeback to tell you about from Graham Dott against David Lilly. That's 2-2 as well, although Lilly is on the verge of taking a 3-2 lead. Rob Milkins and Zangander, 2-2 also. Zach Surety
D7 frame.
is playing some lovely snooker against Martin Gould. He leads 5-1 now. And Si Jiahui is 3-1 up on the former Welsh Open champion, Jordan Brown. Just a reminder, the winner of this match will take on Milkins or Zangander in the final qualifying round on Thursday afternoon. Ding will not be happy where one red has ended up, but he can't moan about the location of these qualifiers, Stephen. He's based in Sheffield. It's a home fixture for him.
Yeah, it's perfect for a lot of these players that are based at the academies in Sheffield. There's Ding's Academy and Victoria's Academy just down the road as well. So it's very handy for these players to have a knock and just come down for your match. No hanging around. No doing anything out of your normal daily routine, which can sometimes help a player psychologically. Jai just looking to see if he can squeeze through and pot this pink. I think he can. Oh, just flick the red. He's playing it with just a trace of side to square up the pink, but just caught the red on the way through.
Centre of the pocket from the moment he struck it. Now will he take the cue ball into the bunch here and spread them far and wide, I wonder? No. remaining disciplined, playing the percentage game.
7. Eight. Thirteen.
Not a straightforward chance again. Black out of commission for the time being. That red just next to it, making it very awkward. Pink looks somewhat tied up, so Ding just weighing up his options of how he feels he should go about this break. Again, that logo just catching on his cue. So getting up, readdressing.
Modern day snooker logos on the waistcoat can be
19.
Occupational hazards. I think every player has got some kind of story about how they've been a distraction. Need to put them on properly in the right place.
There we see the pink does pot into both right middle and left corner. So that does help Ding's cause slightly. Again, just not quite getting the white back as far as he would have liked.
26. 27.
Ding is the world number 38. But we all know he isn't really. He's a top 16 player in disguise, Stephen.
32.
Yeah, of course he is. We all know how good he can play, and obviously he's dropped down the rankings through big money coming off his ranking and had a bit of time away when COVID struck. Went back to China to see his family, his wife and young daughter. And he's just not quite found the confidence that I always think with Ding, for the player he is and how exceptionally well he can play at times, he's always just seemed to lack that little bit of confidence or self-belief maybe. If anything, he just seems too nice. He is a lovely bloke off the table.
Since the rankings came in 1976, only 11 players have been world number one, and Ding is amongst that number. He held the top spot briefly in 2014 and again the following year. That's how good he can be. That's how good he still is, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think it was a great time in snooker when Ding won those 6 ranking titles in the same season.
Ding Junhui 40.
pure dominance. And fantastic for the global growth of the sport.
Judd Trump holds the record with 6. I'm afraid, Stephen, you're one out. It was 5, but I know exactly the point you're making. Yeah, in 2013, 2014, Ding won 5 ranking titles, becoming the first player since Stephen Hendry to do so. Shanghai Masters, Indian Open, International Championship, German Masters and China Open. For the majority of the tour, it's a dream to win a couple of ranking events in their careers, let alone 5 in one campaign.
Yeah, and I think that's sort of the beauty of the tour now. Oh, very close long red from Tepchaya. Obviously those ranking titles that Ding went on to win 2 years down the line, you're going to have to defend those points, and you can't say it's impossible, but it's highly unlikely he's going to defend those 5 ranking titles that he won. Similar to Judd, like you say, winning 6 in a season, it's always a difficult ask to consistently perform at that high level. Obviously these guys, they do it more than most, but to keep winning and winning, it's incredibly difficult. That was a delicate little shot from Ding, very close to the red, and was conscious of the push shot, but didn't get either, didn't get close to the red.
It was quite an expansive shot from Ding, and unlike the previous frame where Tepchaya knew was well behind and the balls were not very kindly placed, here they're delightfully placed.
6.
This is a lovely little setup for Tepchaya.
7.
Mops these up for fun in practice, and he could do with some of that now. Close the gap to 4-3 if he can.
$13. 14. 21.
So just needs to take a bit of care with this down the cushion. Oh, he's just took his eye off it again, and there you see big frustrations. That was a massive moment for him. We've been seeing a few of them miss down the rails recently in the last couple of days. And that could be very costly. Ding already with an 18-point advantage, and the ball's at his mercy, but again, this needs a little bit of care and attention. Just about wriggled in, so
1.
back in with a chance to extend to a 5-2 lead. It's not very often you see a player bang the cue on the table, as we just saw from Tepchaya, but he knew it was big moments. Probably felt that should that red have dropped,
7.
the other reds were at his mercy.
anew has just been too loose this afternoon. How many times have we said that sentence? Interchanging the words morning and evening as well. At his best, he's sensational. But his best doesn't show up as much as it should. And now by potting this simple penultimate red,
20.
Ding leaves a new requiring snookers, and hard to see him getting back to the table.
$25. 26. 26 and the friend, the Junhui.
It is 5-2. Ding needs one more frame to reach the final qualifying round of a tournament that's been very kind to him over the years, the Cazoo UK Championship. Tepchira Nu is 3 behind, a possible 4 to play. Now, when we get to this stage of a match, we tell you that the announcement of the competition winner is imminent, and that's the case this afternoon. You won't have to wait long to see who has won those tickets. 2 tickets for the Wednesday evening session, the 16th, i.e. 8 days' time, at the Barbican Centre in York for the UK Championship proper. With regards to the UK Championship, 2 more days of qualifying after this. Tickets are still available for this Ponds Forge experience from just £10 a day. And if you sit back up there in the centre of the stand, you can see 2 or 3 matches at the same time. As for the main event, well, quite a lot of sessions have been sold out already, including the opening afternoon and the entire final weekend.
To break.
But other sessions still have availability, and you can book your tickets for just £20. To be honest, when you go to the UK Championship, it's a little bit like the World Championship. You can't have a dead session. They're all good. Obviously, some are better than others, but they're all interesting.
Yeah, definitely, and the Barbican, a fantastic arena in York as well, and like you say, the standard will be impeccable as we expect. Top 16 players seeded through, so great for the game to have all the best players in the world there and 16 exciting qualifiers. There's plenty of people here this week though that I'm sure the top 16 would want to avoid. They'll have a few matches under the belt as well, so we'll be match sharp. Difficult queuing for Ding there, in between the red and brown. Wasn't too far away from the red. That's a very nice pot from Tepchire, but cue ball has just got away from him again and finished in a really awkward place. He can't cue the yellow very nicely. Easy to throw a little bit of side on that when you're queuing down, and he was up straight away. He knew that wasn't in.
Anu can reel off frames very swiftly. But he just seems a little dispirited to me. Ding wants to win this as quickly as possible and get home in time for tea. Let's extend our congratulations to Zach Surety, who's defeated former German Masters champion Martin Gould 6-1. Made breaks of 58, 72 and 127 in taking the first 3 frames and never looked back. He's one of those players, Stephen, who hadn't done a lot until the last month or so, and now he seems to be finding his confidence.
Yeah, you're right. He's a good lad, is Zach. Know him quite well, and I know he's struggled over the years to really make an impression on the tour, and it's great to see these guys making the results, particularly in the big tournaments. Can give you a massive boost, a big boost on confidence, ranking points, and obviously a few quid in the bank. It's a good win against Martin Gould. Just had another tweet from Gaz T. Asks, quick simple one, is Rob Spencer still refereeing? He is, yes. I've seen him this week milling about the venue. I think he's involved more in the office now, is he, Phil?
He does both, actually. Really interesting character, Rob Spencer. Good snooker player in his own right. And his son, well, he's multi-talented. He's one of the game's, or one of E-Game's best exponents. Really well known in the world of computer gaming. And last year he finished in the top 20 in the World Series of Poker. Here, though, it might be all in for Ding.
1.
And swiftly out for Tepchar Anu. He's committed far too many mistakes to be competitive against a world-class opponent.
You have to say that was a
8.
Terrible miss from Tepchar. Wasn't a difficult pot, and
9.
he just looks very despondent at the moment, showing some clear signs of frustrations, and rightly so. You know, he's a fabulous player, but he's just not been at the races today, and it's always frustrating when that happens to us players. You know, it's
16.
Big tournament, big stage, you want to do well in these events, and Tepchar has just failed to turn up today.
17.
But Ding will not be taking anything for granted. He's been a professional now for 19 years. Hard to believe. In that time, he's seen an awful lot. One thing you do see, matches can turn quickly. A prime example being yesterday afternoon. Marco Fu 5-0 up on Oliver Lyons. For all the world, he was going to win the 6th frame as well. Suddenly, though, it was 5-4. And the pressure was cranked up. Fu did respond to win 6-4, but it was a nervy hour or so.
$32.
I don't think we'll see the same from Ding here. I feel he's playing and potting much more confidently now. Looking good, looking assured. He fancies the job, that's for sure. Just open these reds up nicely around the pink spot. And this red clears the pink volley, so just releasing the logo from his cue again.
40. $46. 47. 53.
Ding almost there. Now, can he finish off with a landmark, milestone century break? If you're just joining us, he's made 2 already in this match. 120, 123. The 120 was a possible 147. He missed the yellow off its spot using the rest. But if he can make his 3rd century of the afternoon in this frame, that would be 61. His 600th in professional competition. He would be only the 7th player to arrive at that mark.
Underlining the incredible talent that he is and how good he is around this end of the table. Fabulous break builder. Has that cue ball on a piece of string most of the time. Makes every shot
69.
Much easier for himself.
$70.
Well, that's it. The contest is over.
I think overall Ding will be happy with how he's played, considering it's his first match and there was pressure for him to win it, get the ranking points on the board. He's missed the pink.
78.
Well, that should be all that.
Indeed, Tepchai Anu concedes 2 centuries for Ding in the end this afternoon, and he was by far the better player. He made mistakes of his own, but nowhere near as many as his Thai opponent. So Ding advances to the final qualifying round of the Cazoo UK Championship. He does so with a 6-2 victory. Now, we gave you a competition earlier regarding how many century breaks did Stephen Hendry compile in the 1994 UK Championship final. Well, we'll give you the answer to that, and indeed the winner of the competition, in the first frame this evening. Our next action will feature Ricky Walden against Ian Burns, and that begins at 7:30 local time, so in around 2.5 hours time. The reason for the big gap, the speediness of Ding Junhui's victory over Tepchai Anu. We'll see you a little later on.
Go from Dagen. Aware and make heavy air through that. Heavy air through that. The petty will freak.
Great sporting events make great stories. On Discovery Plus, watch Lycra Warriors battle.
It has been a blockbuster.
Hot shots fire.
The legend.
Sharp shooters strike.
Ronnie O'Sullivan is in seventh heaven.
And thrill seekers zoom. There's live sport for everyone on Discovery Plus.